Hello, everyone. Welcome to our session today. I'm excited to introduce you to Mega Goal 1.1. Today, we'll be focusing on Unit 2, which is all about careers. We'll explore language in context and practice some conversation skills. Over the next few minutes, we'll cover key concepts that will help you improve your understanding and confidence in discussing careers. Let's get started. Today, we're focusing on some key language skills that are essential in professional settings. First, we'll look at the sounds m, n, and /eng/. These are common nasal sounds that can sometimes be tricky to distinguish, but mastering them is important for clear communication. Next, we'll explore how to differentiate a chart from a job interview correctly. Recognizing the differences helps us interpret information accurately and respond appropriately in different contexts. We'll also practice completing a job profile, which involves using our understanding of the role to fill in missing information effectively. Finally, we'll see how creating questions for specific information about a conversation can help us gather details efficiently. The overarching lesson objectives are to listen carefully, understand these key points, and connect them to the broader goal of improving our workplace communication skills. Let's take a closer look at some of the key aspects that define a professional profile. First, when we talk about personality, we're referring to the unique traits and characteristics that shape how someone interacts and fits within a team or organization. Special skills are those specific abilities that set an individual apart and add value to their role. Qualifications, on the other hand, encompass the formal education, certifications, and experience that demonstrate readiness for a particular job. Now, what does all this highlight? Essentially, it showcases the strengths and competencies that make a candidate a good fit for a role. Moving on to the job profile, this is a detailed description of the responsibilities, expectations, and scope of a specific position. So, what is this all for? It helps both employers and employees understand what is needed to succeed and how each element connects to the overall organizational goals. Finally, we're just warming up to these concepts, but they form the foundation for understanding how to evaluate and present professional qualifications effectively. This slide ties into the overall theme of building a comprehensive and appealing professional profile, which is crucial for career growth and organizational success. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. When I think about a strong personality, I consider traits like being creative and friendly, which help me connect with others. Hardworking and organized are also key because they ensure I stay focused and manage my tasks effectively. Being sociable and reliable means I can build good relationships and be trusted to follow through. Moving on to special skills, I might be good at speaking or typing, which are useful in many roles. I'm also interested in working outdoors or helping people, depending on the job. Making a lot of money can be a goal, but I also value skills that allow me to contribute meaningfully. Regarding qualifications, I might have a degree in a relevant field or completed a specific course that enhances my expertise. For example, I could have majored in a subject related to my career. Overall, these aspects, personality, skills, and qualifications, combine to create my unique job profile, helping me stand out and succeed in my chosen career path. Let's take a moment to think about what characteristics and skills are important for a TV reporter. First and foremost, strong communication skills are essential. You need to be able to clearly and confidently convey information to your audience. Being a good listener is also critical, because understanding the story and asking the right questions can make all the difference. Next, adaptability is key. News stories can change quickly, and a reporter needs to think on their feet and stay calm under pressure. Curiosity and a genuine interest in the world around you help you uncover compelling stories. Additionally, technical skills, like familiarity with recording equipment and editing software, are increasingly important in today's digital media landscape. And finally, professionalism, including reliability and ethical integrity, builds trust with your audience and colleagues. All of these qualities come together to make someone not just a good reporter, but an effective communicator who can inform, engage, and inspire viewers. Remember, these skills connect directly to the broader goal of journalism, delivering truthful, impactful stories to the public. When you work with me, I get involved in every stage of a project, from selling to the client all the way through designing and setting up the exhibit stands. It's a hands-on process that keeps me connected and ensures quality at every step. The work is quite rewarding but also demanding, often requiring 50 to 60 hours a week. I bring over 3 years of experience as an architect in an apartment building company, which helped me develop strong architectural skills. During college, I also worked part-time in sales, which honed my ability to communicate effectively with clients and team members. My background in art architecture, combined with coursework in marketing, gives me a well-rounded skill set that's essential for this field. I believe that blending design expertise with communication and marketing skills allows me to deliver projects that not only look great, but also meet client needs and expectations. Overall, this combination of experience and skills helps me stay involved and effective throughout the entire process, ensuring successful and high-quality outcomes. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. So why does Youssef like his job? Well, despite being good at solving problems, being organized, reliable, and hardworking, he finds it boring. It's interesting how someone can be skilled but still not enjoy what they do. Now, what skills does Youssef say he has? He mentions that he enjoys being out talking to people, which is an important social skill. On the other hand, Khalid really likes his job because he's a TV reporter. His work involves being out and about, talking to people, and sharing stories. That's something he enjoys and finds fulfilling. Now, what exactly is Khalid's job? As a TV reporter, he's the one out in the field, reporting news and engaging with the community. It's a different kind of work compared to Youssef, and it seems to suit Khalid's interests better. Finally, do they like their jobs? Well, Khalid clearly does, since he enjoys being a reporter. Youssef, however, finds his job boring despite his skills. It shows us that liking your job isn't just about being good at it, it's also about whether it fits your interests and passions. Let's take a moment to consider asking for advice. This is a crucial step in any project or decision-making process. When we seek advice, we're opening ourselves up to new perspectives and insights that we might not have considered on our own. It's important to be specific about what we need help with, so others can provide targeted and valuable input. Remember, asking for advice also shows humility and a willingness to learn, which can strengthen our relationships and build trust. Ultimately, it connects to our overall theme of collaboration and continuous improvement. By actively seeking guidance, we enhance our ability to make informed decisions and move forward more confidently. Who says, luckily? Well, sometimes we feel like luck is the only thing on our side, but in reality, it's about how we choose to see and respond to our situations. Youssef. Who says, talk to someone out of it? That's a great point. Reaching out can really change our perspective and help us break free from negative thoughts or feelings. Youssef. Youssef. Who says, bored to death? I think many of us have been there, stuck in routines that drain our energy and enthusiasm. Youssef. And finally, who says, day after day, day in and day out? That's a common feeling when life feels monotonous, but it also highlights the importance of finding purpose and variety in our daily lives. All these questions challenge us to reflect on how we perceive our circumstances and remind us that we have more control than we sometimes believe. This ties back to our overall theme. Shifting our mindset and attitude can truly transform our experience and open doors to new possibilities. Youssef is the one who uses all these expressions. Now, let's take a moment to read through these phrases and understand what they mean. As we go through each one, think about how Youssef uses them in different situations. These expressions are important because they help us communicate more effectively and add nuance to our conversations. Remember, Understanding the meaning behind these phrases is key to using them correctly. So let's connect these expressions to the overall theme of our presentation, which is about improving communication skills and expressing ourselves more clearly. Keep these in mind as we continue to explore more ways to enhance our language and expression. So what did he actually say? Well, the key point here is the repetition, making rubber day in and day out. This emphasizes the consistent, ongoing effort involved in the rubber manufacturing process. It highlights how, despite the challenges, dedication and routine are essential. You might notice the slight variations in the text, like making rubber or making rubber, but the main idea remains the same. This is about the relentless, daily work that goes into producing rubber. This ties into our overall theme of perseverance and consistency in industrial work. It's a reminder that mastery and quality come from sustained effort over time, no matter what obstacles appear. So, the focus here is on commitment and routine as the foundation of success in this field. So let's take a closer look at this slide. It might seem simple, but it actually highlights a common mistake in storytelling. The first line asks, "What did it say?" which is a prompt to analyze the phrasing. Now, the next 3 lines show different ways people might express the idea that a story is uninteresting or dull. The first version says, "That story bored me to death," which is almost correct but has a grammatical issue. It's missing a to after story. The second version, "That story bore me to death," also has the same problem. The correct way to express this would be, "That's a story that bored me to death," or more simply, "That story bored me to death." The third line, "That story bored to death," is closer but still missing some words for proper grammar. The key point here is that even small mistakes in phrasing can change the clarity and impact of your message. When you're telling a story, especially in a professional setting, clarity and correctness matter because they help keep your audience engaged and ensure your message is understood clearly. This slide reminds us to pay attention to how we phrase things, as it directly affects how our stories are received. So, always double-check your wording to keep your storytelling sharp and effective. Now, let's look at some common ways we might interpret or challenge what someone else has said. First, when we hear, "What did she say?" it's often a simple request for clarification. We want to understand the message clearly before jumping to conclusions. Then we have "talk me out of it." This phrase is a bit more conversational and usually means someone is asking for a reason to reconsider their decision or opinion. They're open to persuasion or perhaps need some convincing to change their mind. Next, "talk me out on it." This one is less common, but can be used in certain contexts. It might imply trying to dissuade someone from a specific stance or action, almost like an extension of the previous phrase, but with a slightly different nuance. Finally, "talk me out of it." This is the most direct and often used in situations where someone is seeking advice or support to avoid making a mistake or to reconsider a choice. It emphasizes the idea of being persuaded not to proceed with something. Throughout our communication, understanding these different expressions helps us navigate conversations more effectively. Whether we're clarifying, persuading, or dissuading, the key is to recognize the intent behind these phrases and respond thoughtfully. This ties back to our overall theme of effective communication, knowing how language shapes understanding and influence. What did he say? Well, the key takeaway here is that, luckily, we've covered all the bases. It's important to remember that being prepared means we're ready for whatever questions or concerns might come up. When I say, "luckily," I really mean that because, thanks to our thorough preparation, we can move forward with confidence. So, in essence, we're not caught off guard, and that peace of mind is crucial in ensuring the success of our project. This point ties back to the overall theme of being proactive and well-prepared, which is essential for achieving our goals. Let's take a closer look at these key points. First, we see a T, which stands for true. This indicates that the initial statement or concept we're discussing is indeed accurate. Then we have an F, meaning false, so whatever follows here is not correct or perhaps a common misconception. The next F reinforces that idea, another false statement that we need to clarify or correct. Moving on, we see another T, reminding us that some concepts or facts are indeed true and reliable. Lastly, the final T confirms the truth of the final point. What's important here is understanding how these designations, true and false, help us evaluate information critically. Recognizing which points are accurate and which are not is fundamental to making informed decisions and developing a clear understanding of the overall theme of this presentation. So, as we connect these points, remember that distinguishing truth from falsehood is key to applying this knowledge effectively in our work and beyond. This slide doesn't contain enough information. That's why we're moving to the next slide. Let's take a moment to look at the workbook on page 228, where you'll find exercise B. This part is designed to help you apply what we've discussed today and reinforce your understanding through practical practice. Remember, completing the homework is key to solidifying these concepts and making them part of your skill set. I encourage you to approach it thoughtfully, and don't hesitate to revisit any sections if you need a little extra clarity. Keep in mind, these exercises are an important step in connecting theory to real-world application, which is the core of our overall learning journey. So, take your time, stay engaged, and use this opportunity to deepen your grasp of the material.